What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down something with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down some very important levels to watch for and what happened with Jerome Powell's speech. But just note that I'm not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget to smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, what's happening is the market is pushing right now. We're seeing a lot of buyers trying to defend because of what Jerome Powell said. He was more dovish, if anything. He helped the market push because of what he ended up saying about the economy and also different factors like that. So he gave a speech. It was only about like 20 minutes. And then on top of that, we currently have about a 67% chance of getting a 25 basis point cut, a 32% chance of a 50 basis point cut, and a 100% chance we do get some kind of cut according to the markets. The market already is like pricing this in. So Jerome Powell gave a speech and he's indicating that cuts are coming very, very soon. He said the time has come for policy to adjust. And he was talking about a lot of different factors. So he was firstly breaking down the whole situation with inflation, how it got elevated, how the Fed was very committed to their goal, how the Fed put their hand down and became very, very strict on policy. So the Fed started raising rates and such. And he mentioned that they've been doing it for so long to the point where now they're quite confident that inflation is once again at hand. They're basically controlling it. And he mentioned that they're on track for their 2% targets and that the risk of inflation going up is now diminishing. Okay, so that's a good sign. And then he also said that the risk of employments to go down is also increasing. So it's not the best of news because employment is taking a hit. And that's why the Fed is entering a place where they have to adjust on their policies. He also mentioned that the Fed is not going to be tightening more. So, at least from this point on, they don't have any plans to do so. So, that's a big piece of news from the Fed. And that's the Fed is now in a position where they're going to most likely cut. He basically implied that. So, the market loved him being more dovish. This is the most dovish he could have been, according to reports, considering the fact that we have another inflationary report coming out before the FOMC report next month. So, we do have another inflationary data report that's coming out. Because of that, I think that Jerome Powell was a little careful. But considering that, Jerome Powell was quite dovish, and he basically told us that the Fed will most likely cut. So the market loved that. That's why the market was pumping the way it was. I mentioned to everyone the market's going to pump most likely after Jerome Powell's speech. This shouldn't be a surprise to you. I was leaning a bit more in that direction, but like I said in my earlier videos, I don't think that this means the market's going to pump forever, and there will be a top forming eventually. Now, we're not ready to call it yet, as SPY is now trying to hit 562 as resistance. We have the all-time high essentially at this 565 area, or very close to it. I think that if we break 563, we could technically get there, but even if we do go that high, I still think that there's going to be a risk of downside. I wouldn't necessarily rule out my view. It's just that it's a little tricky to tell how high SPY is going to go because right now we are looking a little bit more bullish. So make sure you look at 562 as resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 563. And if that breaks, we're going up to 565. If we reject here, we're going to be looking at 560 as our key support. If that breaks, we're coming back down towards 558, then 556. If 556 breaks, we turn very bearish. Otherwise, we're just in this range. And I think that for now, I think SPY is going to try to push a little higher. It's going to make an attempt to do so. So we'll see if we get a rejection. As of right now, we're a bit more bullish trying to test 562. So we could push higher, but we'll be watching to see if we get a rejection later on. I personally think that if we do get above 563, I'm not 100% sure if we will, but if we do, even if we go up to 565, I don't think SPY will go much higher than that. I think that there's going to be a top forming, and SPY is due to see a little bit of a dip. So I think that's going to come soon, a little pullback over the next month and a half. But for now, it's not starting, and we're just waiting to see these levels. So look at this, try to push a little bit more as buyers are defending. It may even shop around a bit, but there is going to be a risk of downside. So keep that in the back of your guys' minds. For Nvda, we did pump all the way up to about 129, then we dipped back down to 126, and we're kind of stuck in the middle. We are favoring upside. We could try to get closer to 129 to 130 again, but just note every time we hit 130, we rejected for the past week. So there's going to be a risk of rejection if we hit 130 again. If we lose 126.5, we'll be dipping to 124.7. We could go a little bit higher. I do see potential in Nvidia to push, but there could be rejection after that. So be very, very careful. For Bitcoin, we're attempting to push right now as we have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. I think that this does have potential, but the issue is the resistance is very tough around that 62,000 area. So if you do try to push around there, there could be a rejection up at that level. So you want to be careful. For now, we are pushing, so it might push for the time being, but just be careful at resistance. For ES, we're approaching the high at 56.55. It is possible we try to break this and go a little higher towards 56.80. It's still a possibility, but I don't think we're going to go much higher. I think we could get close to those highs. Then we'll be watching to see a rejection if it ends up coming. For stocks like Tesla did a good job at holding up, but make sure you watch these supports that we have. We have this resistance at this 220 area. We have support around this 217 and 215 area. It's going to be our key EMAs. And we'll be watching to see what kind of reaction we get. It is possible Tesla tries to go a little bit higher towards 220. It is possible, but we'll be watching to see if we establish a lower high and if that does lead to a rejection or not. For now, Tesla's a bit more bullish. It's up almost 4% trying to push towards 220. We may shuffle a bit and try to push a little higher, but just no resistance. Resistance is going to be tough, and then we'll see what the reaction happens to be. For the QQQ, we have 480 as resistance and also 482. We have supported 477, not to mention 475. I think the triple Q could try to push for 480, but I don't see us just breaking through everything like that. I think it's going to be very slow. I think we're just range bound right now. We saw this big pump to 482 thanks to Powell, then it dipped back down to 475, and then just some consolidation. There's not really much going on with this. We're just stuck in the middle. May try to push a little bit, but I don't really expect too much. Apple's range bound between 226 and 227. We pushed to 228 only to reject back down. I am seeing a little weakness here. We're barely holding 226. We'll see if that holds. If it doesn't hold, we could dip lower to about the 225s again. So we'll see how it goes. There is a risk of downside on Aapl. Looking at the IWM, I said that if we broke past 217, we're looking for 220. Lo and behold, that's where we went to. We're going to be looking at resistance around this 221 area. That's going to be a very, very key zone, at least for us. If that breaks, I think we could get closer to about this level right here, this imbalance towards 222.25. And then if that ends up breaking, if we end up breaking this resistance right here, our next target is going to be around, let me just double check this, up to about 224, a little bit under that. So I'll be watching these levels very carefully. If we end up dipping, we lose 220, we'll be looking for a dip, but this is looking a little bit more bullish on the IWM. So it could continue to push. Jerome Powell talked about potential cuts is helping certain stocks like Tesla and the IWM a lot, especially those small caps. So for now, we're bullish. Coin is a bit more bullish, trying to break through this resistance. I'm going to actually delete this wedge. I don't think that this is encompassing things as well. As long as we're above 205, I think 208 could be coming. It is possible to try to push higher, but just know we have tough resistance close to 208. Our support is going to be at 205 and 202. We still look bullish, at least for now. For Amazon, we're stuck in the middle. We have 178 as resistance, and we have support at 175. We're still stuck in between these levels. We'll see which way we go. I do think we could push closer to 178, and we'll see if that breaks or not. For Meta, we have a possible head and shoulders like structure, so it looks a little bit weaker. If we lose 530, we're looking for a dip back down towards 525. If we break past resistance at 534, we could push higher. I see a risk of us hitting 530, maybe dipping, so be careful with Meta. Microsoft is kind of dipping as well. We're looking at 416 as our resistance. If we lose 414, look for a bigger drop for a possible slanted head and shoulders like structure. So I see some downside potential of 414 breaks, and we're just shuffling for now. Google's also stuck between 168 and 166. If we lose 166, look for a dip. Otherwise, we're still stuck within this range. So a lot of stocks are kind of stuck in ranges, but some stocks like SPY are showing some strength as we're hitting resistance, and buyers are defending after Jerome Powell's speech. So my view of the market is we could push higher, but watch resistance. The market could get a big rejection soon. I don't think we're ready yet. We just have to wait. Be very, very patient, guys. Give the market the time it needs, and there will be some good entries coming. All right, so thank you for listening. For now, we're pushing higher. The direction is up for now, but things could shift later on, either today or maybe next week. So we'll see how things go. It is a Friday. Fridays are oftentimes full of manipulation. So give the market the time it needs, and I'll see you guys in a couple of hours. Thank you for listening, and peace out.